Ever wondered if what you perceive is the actual reality or just a distorted version of it? This question takes us into the realm of cognitive biases, the little shortcuts our brain takes that can lead us astray. These biases are systematic errors in our thinking that can significantly skew our perception of reality. Imagine your brain as a painter, creating a picture of the world around you. But just like every artist, your brain has its unique style. It adds, omits, or emphasizes details depending on your past experiences, beliefs, and emotions. This can sometimes lead to distorted, subjective, and incomplete representations of reality. Cognitive biases often lead us to make irrational decisions and judgments, sometimes without us even realizing it. They are the invisible puppeteers pulling the strings behind our thoughts and actions. So, are you seeing the world as it is or through a distorted lens? Now that we know our brains can trick us, let's dive into how they do it. There are various cognitive biases that our brains use to simplify information processing, and while they can be helpful, they often lead us astray. Let's explore a few of them. First up, we have confirmation bias. This is our tendency to search for, interpret, and remember information in a way that confirms our preconceptions. For instance, if you believe that all politicians are corrupt, you're more likely to remember news stories about political scandals and dismiss those that show politicians doing good. Next, we have the anchoring bias. It's our tendency to rely heavily on the first piece of information we encounter, the anchor, when making decisions. Imagine you're buying a car. The salesperson might mention a high price first, which could make all subsequent prices seem reasonable, even if they're still above market value. Then there's the availability heuristic. This is when we make judgments about the probability of events based on how easy it is to think of examples. The more readily an example comes to mind, the more probable we think it is. So, if a friend recently had their bike stolen, you might overestimate the likelihood of bike theft in your area. Lastly, let's talk about the self-serving bias. This is our tendency to attribute success to our own abilities and efforts, but blame outside factors for our failures. For instance, if you ace a test, you might think it's because you're smart and studied hard. But if you fail, you might blame the test for being too difficult, or the teacher for not explaining the material well enough. So these are just a few ways your brain might be distorting your perception of reality. Each of these biases can influence our decisions and judgments in powerful ways, often without us even realizing it. Stay tuned as we explore the impact of these biases on our thinking in the next scene. You might be wondering, how does this affect my daily life? Well, cognitive biases aren't just abstract psychological concepts. They're real, and they're influencing your decisions and judgments right now, in ways you might not even realize. Think about your personal relationships. Ever had a friend who always seems to remember their predictions correctly? That's probably the hindsight bias in action, where they unconsciously adjust their memory of what they predicted to fit what actually happened. Or maybe you found yourself attributing your own successes to your hard work and talent, but when others succeed, you chalk it up to luck. That's the self-serving bias, and it can seriously impact how we perceive ourselves and others. Now let's shift gears to your professional life. Ever been in a meeting where everyone seems to agree on a decision too quickly, without much debate? That could be the groupthink bias. It's when the desire for harmony in a group leads to a decision-making process where alternative viewpoints are not considered. This can lead to poor decisions, as critical thinking is often sidelined. How about when you're making a big purchase, like a car or a house? Ever notice how once you've made up your mind about a particular model or location, you start seeing it everywhere, and all the information you find seems to confirm that you've made the right choice? That's the confirmation bias, and it can lead us to make decisions based on limited or selective information. But here's the good news. Simply being aware of these biases can help us mitigate their influence. We can take steps to question our automatic thought processes, seek out diverse perspectives, and make more informed decisions. So next time you catch yourself falling into one of these cognitive traps, remember, it's not you, it's your brain. And with a bit of conscious effort, you can train your brain to think more critically and objectively, leading to better decisions and judgments. So, it's clear that these biases can significantly shape our lives, isn't it? Alright, it seems like our brains are playing tricks on us, but can we do anything about it? Well, the good news is, we can. It all begins with self-awareness. Recognizing our own cognitive biases is the first step to overcoming them. This means questioning our assumptions, challenging our beliefs, and being open to the possibility that we might be wrong. Critical thinking is another powerful tool. It involves carefully examining information, questioning its source, and considering other perspectives. It's about not simply accepting things at face value, but digging deeper to understand the why and the how. Seeking different perspectives is also key. By exposing ourselves to a variety of viewpoints, we can mitigate the risk of falling into the trap of confirmation bias. We can broaden our understanding and challenge our preconceived notions. And finally, avoid making hasty decisions. Take the time to reflect, analyze, and consider all the options before jumping to conclusions. So, with some effort and self-awareness, we can start to see the world more clearly. That's a lot to take in, isn't it? Let's quickly summarize what we've learned today. We dove deep into the realm of cognitive biases, those pesky little tricks our minds play on us, distorting our perception of reality. We explored various types, from confirmation bias, where we favor information that confirms our pre-existing beliefs, to the halo effect, where one good trait leads us to believe a person has many others. We also delved into the impact these biases have on our thinking, how they can lead us to make flawed decisions and skew our understanding of the world around us. But it's not all doom and gloom. We also discussed strategies to overcome these biases, like actively seeking out diverse perspectives and questioning our assumptions regularly. Remember, your brain might be lying to you, but now you're better equipped to catch it in the act. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to Brain Secrets for more fascinating insights into the human mind. Thanks for watching.